Hi guys, it's Aoife from Words of Clover and I'm here with a little book haul today. So I've gotten a few books in the last week or so that I just wanted to talk about and show you guys. So two of these books are from my library, and then the second pile of books I have I literally just got today from a second-hand bookshop that's online in Ireland. It's called thebookshop.ie. I absolutely love it, and it's just such good value for the books that you're getting. And I had a little bit of a treat myself day the other day where I treated myself to some of these books, and yeah, they came today and I want to tell you all about them. So the first two books I will show you are the ones I got from the library. The first book I have here is a Regency romance, and that is The Duke is Mine by Eloisa James. This, as I said, is Regency romance. This is the third book in Eloisa James. I don't know what her series is actually called. But it's kind of a series that she does. They're like not connected, the books, but they all have a theme of that they're kind of based on like a fairy tale. So the first book is called A Kiss at Midnight, that's Cinderella. And then the second book, which I actually have here, is When Beauty Tamed the Beast, which is obviously a Beauty and the Beast retelling. So this book, The Duke is Mine, is based on Princess and the Pea. We are following a duke called Tarquin who is supposed to be getting married to a girl called Georgiana, but he can't stop thinking about Georgiana's sister, whose name is Olivia. I'm not too sure exactly what the storyline here is, but all I know is that it is Princess and the Pea inspired. So yeah, should be interesting. The next book I have is also the second book in a series, and that is Shadow Captain by Alastair Reynolds. This is the second book in the Revenger series, the first book of which I read the start of this year or the end of last year. I think it was the start of this year. And basically the best way I can describe this book is space pirates. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So the first book, Revenger, we are following two sisters who end up running away from home. They board this ship that goes on like these salvage missions, or like these treasure hunt missions. Through a particular set of skills, they find these kind of planets that open up for a particular amount of time. They go down onto these planets and they're able to find all these type of treasures. And then by the time they come back up, the planet closes, and then that planet might not open up again for like a number of years. So they can get all sorts of treasure from these planets. So we're following these sisters who goes onto one of these ships to do exactly that, but things go wrong and they basically end up having to fight for their lives. In this book, we are following what happened at the very end of that first book. We are seeing how things kind of turned out completely differently for the sisters, and they're still like on the run for their life because a reputation that isn't actually their own is now following them and is now attached to them in like the worst way possible, and they have to figure out like how to save themselves from that. So I just think this is going to be like so much fun. I really enjoyed Revenger. I love the world it was set in. I love the pacing of the book. So I think this is going to be exactly the same, and I can't wait to continue on with the series because I think it's going to be really, really good. Next few books I will show you are all books I got secondhand from thebookshop.ie. So the first two books are actually books I've read before, but I've read both of these via the library, and I wanted to, when I saw them, I decided that I would get them and add them to my own library because they are books that I really enjoyed and that I will reread in the future. So the first book is The Dark Days Club by Allison Goodman. This is like a Regency romance demon hunting book. If you like kind of like Shadowhunters, Cassandra Clare, you would probably really, really enjoy this. We're following a character called Lady Helen who finds out that she can see and hunt and kill these type of demon-like creatures that, you know, are really, really bad obviously and can kill people, and she is one of the chosen few who can actually see and like help people, except it all has to be done in secret, and it definitely affects her chances of like, you know, meeting a good match for like, you know, that will help her family. She kind of needs to meet a good match and marry like a man from like, you know, a good background and who has a little bit of money, and her running around like at the dead of night slaying these demons like kind of causes problems about that. So yeah, this is just such a great trilogy. Like I love this trilogy so much, and I'm really glad that I was able to get the first book. And then similar to that, I have Days of Blood and Starlight. This is the second book in the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy, which again is about a girl who basically lives with these type of monstrous creatures, and they're actually her family. And this is a book where the real world and the fantastical world are kind of door to door, like they're next door to each other. Again, this is a book series I do own Daughter of Smoke and Bone, but I don't own the second two books, so when I saw this I picked it up because I wanted to own it. Then the next two books I have here are both historical fiction books. One of them is Alison Weir's Elizabeth the Queen. This is actually a non-fiction book about just like Elizabeth the Queen, and I just thought it would be a nice one to add to like my like historical books. I do know I actually just described this as historical fiction. It is not historical fiction, it is historical non-fiction, but it will go alongside my historical fiction books. I read other books, fiction and non-fiction, by Alison Weir, and I've really enjoyed them, so yeah, just glad to pick this up. The next book is The Essex Serpent by Sarah Perry. This is a book that's set in 1890. It's about a woman who sets on the trail of this Essex serpent, kind of this like mythological creature that seems to be like in around where she's living. I think she ends up meeting someone who like challenges her beliefs and she challenges his in different ways, and there's a little bit of a romance maybe there as well. I've heard really good things about this book, and like this cover is just stunning. Like for a secondhand book, like that cost me I think like €2. I mean, this is great. Like it's absolutely gorgeous. It is in such perfect condition as well, so really happy about that. Then the next two books I have are science fiction and fantasy. So this book is science fiction. It is Cold Welcome by Elizabeth Moon. This is the first book in a series called Vatta's Peace, and I've never heard of this book before, but I have heard of Elizabeth Moon, and I just know that she's like an author that a lot of people really enjoy. I see kind of her quotes on other books that I've enjoyed, and yeah, so this is about I think it's like a space captain or an admiral called Kai Vatta, and she's returning to her home planet as a war hero, and then I think her ship gets shot down and she ends up being marooned on this planet, and I think she needs to figure out like how to get home, but she also has to figure out like, is there someone after her, is it a case of mistaken identity, like is her life in danger, what's going on. But yeah, I just was quite attracted to this because of the author and because I actually really liked the cover as well. And then the next book I got is actually an omnibus of two books. I think it's the first two books in a series, and I've never heard of this series before. I think I've heard of this author, Cheryl J. Franklin. I think I've heard of her, I'm not 100% sure, but this is Tales of Taormin. This is Tales of Taormin, Fire Get and Fire Lord. So this is two books in one. And this is basically a world where I think people can have powers. Some sort of world where there are wizards, or there were wizards. There are no wizards anymore. There are people now with powers that could like save the world. There are people with powers who could destroy the world. And there's just a lot of stuff going on. I just picked this up because I just thought it'd be fun to pick up kind of like a more like vintagey, like SFF book. I find like thebookshop.ie has lots of really great like vintage, like old school fantasy and science fiction books, and I've told myself now and again it would be really fun to like pick up some of these old school books, so this is one of those ones that I picked up, and yeah, I'm excited to get to it just to see if it's good. Like it might not be good, but I only paid like €2 for this, so like it's not like the end of the world if I don't enjoy it. But yeah, I just thought it'd be fun just to pick up something random like this and see if I enjoy it. So those are all the books that I've gotten lately. If you guys have read any of these books, please let me know. If you guys think which book I should start with first, also comment that and let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys again next time. Bye!